So Aubrey's Angels are scraping, scrambling, and trying to come up with any narrative they can when it comes to UMG's latest paperwork, where they said they pretty much got all the evidence they need to support Kendrick's assertion that Drake likes him young. Now, in this video, we're gonna go over some of that in the video that DeVille made, and I'm gonna go over one of the arguments they're trying to use and why that argument makes no sense, as is the case with about 99.9% of the arguments these stands make. All right, I ain't gonna hold y'all. Let's get right into this video and see what's happening.
This update in the UMG lawsuit is crazy. Now, we had read a little bit of the updates that they gave us about the subpoena for Mr. Kaplan, but it looks like this is even more intense than that, because now UMG claims that what they have in their possession is going to be able to help in their defense. Going based off of Rule 26A1A, they are claiming that based upon the information now reasonably available to UMG, UMG states that it has in its possession, custody, or control the following categories of documents that it may use to support its defenses, unless the use would be solely for impeachment. And this is the information that UMG claims that they have, that they will use in their defense. And this is where it starts to get good. First bullet says that the contracts and agreements between UMG and Drake, and documents concerning UMG's contractual relationship with Drake. So they're gonna.
So I want to know what would be in those contracts that helps UMG. Y'all might have to help me out with this one in the comment section, because I want to know what would be in those contracts that would help UMG fight, I guess, these allegations that Drake is making.
Pull Drake's contract. UMG has access to Drake's contract, obviously, and now they're going to show Drake's contract in court. The other
if they show it, we probably won't get much details about his contract, though. I mean, if they're trying to redact things out of Kendrick's contract, you would think most of that stuff, for the same reasons they said they wanted to redact it and even seal Kendrick's, they don't want other people using it as leverage, so on and so forth. You got to think the same would apply to Drake's contract. Not to say, though, that it still can't be brought up in court. It would just probably be like a closed hearing type of thing. But I am interested to know what relevance that has. Like, how does that help UMG? Drake's contract specifically, right? How is that helping UMG? I honestly don't know enough about that stuff to even like guess. But I mean, is there anything in there that refutes any assertions that Drake has made as to protections or anything like that? I don't know, man. Y'all help me out with that one.
Recording in Drake and Lamar's rap feud, and documents concerning the distribution, marketing, and promotion of the recording in the feud, of the other recordings in the feud. So they're going to talk about all the other songs that were mentioned in the beef.
Right, because that is important. Other recordings in Drake and Lamar's rap feud, and documents concerning distribution. Right. Okay. So, and that's partly what Drake wanted, right? To know about the distribution process, what took place, who was part of it, so on and so on. Marketing and promotion of their other recordings. So look, in essence, he'll get what he wants. The only thing is, it's probably not going to say what he wants it to say. So that'll be that.
One of the biggest conversations about this was tailor-made freestyle, and how Drake's lawyers were trying to make Not Like Us its individual thing, when the judge was saying that they had to get context and they have to talk about every single song in the battle. So bringing up documents and information about the other records, I believe this is the reason why they're doing that. The petition entitled Art on Trial, Protect Black Art, appended as Exhibit A to UMG's request for judicial notice in support of its motion to dismiss. Now, this Art on Trial that they're talking about is a petition and public campaign a few years ago, if I'm correct, by music industry leaders, including executives at Warner Records and Atlantic Record, as well as artists and advocacy groups. The petition argues against the use of rap lyrics and other forms of artistic expression as evidence of criminal prosecution. So they are bringing up Art on Trial, Protect Black Art, so that way they could argue using rap lyrics in court, which I think is a very smart move, considering that this is what we're doing. But we'll see how this goes, because from what we know, they've been using rap lyrics a lot up until this point. The other bullet, other recordings by...
Yeah, but I wonder if that would set any precedent where if Drake is saying, well, this is literal, when clearly it wasn't. I mean, if that's the case, we got to take everything literally that both people said. Even though they've been using rap lyrics, I don't think they've been used in the sense of we can pick and choose what part of these lyrics we want to take literal and build a case around it. Because that's essentially kind of what Drake is doing, right? He's picking and choosing and he's trying to build his case and he's trying to dictate what part of the lyric is literal or not with no corroborating evidence, which is why he's on this fishing expedition, right? He has nothing, he hasn't presented anything from his side other than conjecture and supposition and internet theories. Really, nothing. No objective evidence. So I don't know, man. It's a dangerous game that they playing right now, and it's super hypocritical because Drake was one of the people who didn't want things like this to happen. It just shows you what he values more, and that's himself and his image. He could get care less about, and we already know this lyric thing is targeted toward the African American community to make these cases. Look, man, I've been a part of the system, and while some of these dudes out here doing shit, they they guilty. You'll be a fool to think that the justice system doesn't railroad people. You'd be a fool to think that people don't get set up. I've seen it, my own eyes. I've been a part of it as far as like it happening to me. I've had police officers take shit from me and never turn it into evidence. What do you think happened to that shit? Like, it's a corrupt system, man. And to be a part of something like this where lyrics can be used to further that corrupt agenda, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. People trying to support this bullshit. This shit ain't about artists. This shit ain't about expression. This shit ain't nothing but fucking Drake, man.
Drake and documents concerning the same, including but not limited to those appended as Exhibit B, C, and Z to UMG. News reports and documents concerning Drake's relationship with and behavior around minors, the criminal charges and conviction of Baka Not Nice, and the rap feud between Drake and Lamar, including but not limited to the documents appended in Exhibits N through X to UMG's RJN. So now they've officially done it. Now they are going to check into Drake and his suspicious activity with youngins, bro. This is insane. Now, from the recent document that was updated yesterday, this is one of the documents that was there. However, it wasn't available to the public just yet. Everybody is going to react to this so crazy because now it's UMG officially saying that in their defense, they are now going to show news reports and documents concerning Drake's relationship with youngins, bro. And this is the craziest part about everything, because not only are they looking into that, they're also bringing up the criminal charges belonging to Baka Not Nice. Why is he still around? The whole reason why this might be a big argument is because when Kendrick Lamar says certified lover boy, certified PDFs, he could just be referring to Baka. You do have him in your group. He is still someone in your inner circle. Why is he still around? You guys call yourself certified lover boys, but one of y'all has a bad criminal history. Now they're looking into Drake's relationships and behaviors with youngins at the same time. It only makes me believe that Drake had put himself in this position where now his own label has to go at him this way. I think Drake.
All right. So, yeah. And all right. So now one of the angles that these OVO stands is taking on X is this, right? I'm going to show y'all something. So here's a couple comments. Let me go back. So one person says, but of all their quote unquote evidence, but all of their quote unquote evidence is years old and has been reported on before per UMG's own words. So if we're following that logic, then they've known for a while. They just didn't feel the need to act. And even in some of their first filings, they said nothing and not like us should be taken as fact. So now they would be backtracking. All right. So this is a very deceptive argument, of course, but easy to poke holes in. Number one, UMG never said or intimated like how long they've known this, when they've collected this evidence, anything like that. It would be more logical to assume that they only started doing this once they seen the direction that Drake wanted to go with everything and that he was serious, right? And so it's like the natural thing to do would be, okay, this dude tripping. Let's prepare, right? Let's prepare. We're going to do everything we can to get this thing thrown out and not even get to trial. But if we need to be ready. And so I think the more logical conclusion would be that UMG only started doing this once they seen this thing was in court. Drake is going to go, full bore with everything. Now let's put everything in the file. Okay. Then they said, then they've known for a while. They just don't feel the need to act. No, they did. That's not to assume that they knew any of this. And I would even venture to say they didn't care one way or another. When they was on good terms with Drake, they not following his lifestyle every video. I would think that they had no idea about most of this shit. Lucian ain't sitting back looking at all these little videos and shit that fans are showing, man. And even in some of their first filings, they said nothing in Not Like Us should be taken as fact. So now they would be backtracking, and it's not backtracking. So I made a few comments on that one, right? But I ain't gonna get into that discussion. This one right here. If UMG was aware of Drake's crimes and did nothing, then they are just as guilty as him. Then why would Kendrick, as a moral person, sound like another stupid argument? Another stupid argument. Number one, none of this is to say that UMG was aware of any of this, and it's not outside. It's not even it's not even a stretch to think that they weren't aware of it. Like, again, why would they be focusing on any of his day-to-day activities like fans do? All right. And as far as that aspect of it goes, it's irrelevant to the main point. The main point is whether or not Kendrick had enough circumstantial things from Drake's life to make the assertion, say, Drake, I hear you like him young. And that right there is the only question that matters. So they want to try to, again, drum up an argument and get people to focus on that argument when that's not the main point and it's irrelevant, right, to what's in question. Drake is saying they're defaming me. There was no reason to say these things. They're just making up stories. UMG is saying, look, we got things from the internet that shows there's been a history of questionable behavior and things like that. So it's not outside the realm of possibility for one to think he likes him young, to make the assertions, and they're not based on storytelling as far as that goes, or somebody just making up lies while Drake is sitting on the beach somewhere lamping. No, they're brought up in the context of a rap battle, and so that changes the whole dynamic of things, does it not? Right. And again, it's not outside. It's more logical to think that UMG started putting these things together once these court proceedings started, got in motion. It's not to say they knew anything before. It's not to say they was following his lifestyle and knew about all these little videos and all these little text messages about Baka Not Nice. But once things was in motion, now it's time for the lawyers to start doing their due diligence. And I know a lot of y'all say in the comments sometimes, and have jokingly, right? Somebody need to send this to UMG, this and that and the other. And I always think to myself, UMG, if their lawyers is worth their money, right? They've already done the research and they should already have this just in case. Like all these cases, I'm pretty sure the same way Drake's lawyers go through the internet and collect things like that, I'm pretty sure UMG's lawyers do the same thing. So I would assume that they already been on top of that and they already got all that together. But again, I just want to make this final point about this is that UMG, this ain't going to help Drake. See, with Drake, this whole thing is backfiring on Drake. It's not about whether or not Drake committed a crime. It's about perception. And so if in your attempt to prove that Kendrick lied and you're not, all you do is prove that Kendrick had a reason to say what he said, you lost, well, you lost. And that's what's going to happen. Nobody's going to care about whether or not you committed a crime. It's perception. And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, especially on the internet, perception is reality, right? And so if Kendrick created the perception, well, he didn't even create it. If Kendrick took the things that you did and showed the people and gave the people the perception that you like them young, and if in your attempt to prove otherwise, all you do is cause these things to come up and end up being put up on some whiteboard or in some PowerPoint, and for a lawyer to go through step by step by step in a trial-like situation, bro. What like, I don't understand how people don't see that this is not a good thing for Drake. It's not good. And it's too late. We passed that point. So, I mean, people talk about the settlement. I don't see any incentive for UMG to settle for real, for real. I mean, I hope they don't, but I really don't see any incentive for it. But this ain't good. This ain't gonna help the OVOs. Their arguments again are always like off base, illogical, nonsensical. Let's get back to the Ville's video
and what he's been requesting in court. The affirmations and behaviors with youngins at the same time, it only makes me believe that Drake had put himself in this position where now his own label has to go at him this way. I think Drake brought this on himself. This is an outcome of how he has been acting and what he's been requesting in court. The affirmation of David Kafer appended an Exhibit Y to UMG's RJN. The disclosure of such records may be limited by applicable foreign privacy or data transfer rules. If and as discovery progresses and as otherwise appropriate, UMG reserves the right to supplement, amend, or otherwise modify these categories of documents. UMG also reserves the right to rely upon documents, electronically stored information, and tangible things in the possession, custody, and control of plaintiffs and or non-parties. This is the biggest takeaway also, as well as Drake's contract. They're going to go over Drake's contract in court, and UMG has all the information about Drake's contract. Will they redact some of the things? Possibly some of the things that they have to redact, that they have to keep private. But I'm sure they're going to point out a lot of things from Drake's contract that they want to mention in court. But I think the biggest takeaway is how they're going to look into Drake's relationship, his history and behavior with minors, as well as Baka's criminal history. This is going to definitely change the momentum in this case. And this is something that people had talked about in the past. When everybody was talking about Drake wanting a discovery, UMG had sent its official warning. Now, back in April, this was a statement made by UMG before the.
If you look at it right now, what we got, and you were to, I guess, make your own file or PowerPoint of allegations that Drake made and anything on the internet that could possibly support it, and allegations that Kendrick made and anything on the internet that could possibly support that. Once you built that picture, who would you think had more credibility? The only thing that we've ever seen that could possibly support Drake's argument, right, or his allegations, is that whole video that they show of the girl talking about, somebody being bloody, this, that, and the other, which that whole thing has been debunked. People like DeVille already made video after video on that. The dates don't match up. They just debunked what's the dirt with the pictures and the dates on X. Like, that whole thing has been debunked, but that's only one thing. There has been nothing else outside of that. When you talk about the burden of proof and the weight of the evidence, bro, that shit's light as a feather. There's nothing. But now you contrast that and juxtapose and contrast that with the Drake situation, right? We have him, not a person, not somebody saying it. We have him on the stage saying, if the girl told him she's 17, I don't want to go to jail. So he's admitted implicitly, explicitly, that what he's doing is wrong, and he does it anyway. Got Millie Bobby Brown situation. You got things like that. You got Baka Not Nice. That's a real court case with real files, right? So whose picture, when you build that picture, right, and you put it together, who has more credibility when you look at it from that perspective, right? Whose story is more credible? I mean, do we even got to answer that question? But I'll do it anyway. Kendrick's story is more credible, and it's not based on internet theories. It's based on the people involved's own actions. While OVO is steady trying to use fucking theories from academics and all these fucking groups on X and all of that, and some weird ass interviews from long ago where the dates don't match and it's all been debunked, the person themselves, like, there's just no comparison. There's no comparison. So that one paragraph that DeVille showed is really important, because all UMG has to show is that there is a good amount of information out there that would cause one to think or say, Drake, I hear you like them young, and certified lover boy certified PDF files to say that you hang with a group of people with questionable fucking behavior. It's a rap battle, man. You said I beat up my wife. You said that my kids ain't mine. Cool. Cool. I ain't even gonna bitch about it. That's why you hang with weirdos. That's why you a weirdo. And it's based on your own actions that we can fucking look at the video proof of. Right? I just don't see what the argument is here.
Discovery was processed. Drake, unquestionably one of the world's most accomplished artists and with whom we've enjoyed 16 years successful relationship with, is being misled by his legal representatives into taking one absurd legal step after another. In Texas last November, his counsel instituted a legal proceeding with much fanfare and bluster. On Monday, they quietly dropped the case. In New York in January, Drake's counsel filed a defamation lawsuit fearful of being sanctioned by the court for asserting false allegations. Tonight, they amended the complaint to withdraw them, only to add more baseless allegations. 2 weeks ago, his representatives celebrated a win, the granting of a routine discovery motion. That win will become a loss if this frivolous and reckless lawsuit is not dropped in its entirety, because Drake will personally be subject to a discovery as well. And as the old saying goes, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And now that they're going over this stuff right here in regards to Drake's relationship or his recent behavior with minors, I think this is what UMG was talking about the whole time. Now that we're doing this routine discovery, let's look into your contract. Let's look into your behavior. And I was telling people for a really long time, bro, if UMG goes this route, it's only going to look worse for Drake when his label has to expose him. His own label is finally going to have to expose him. They might have to take off the baby gloves when handling their artists moving forward. It looks like they're playing hardball now. And this might be the warning that they were talking about initially when they granted Drake the discovery. But we'll see how it goes moving forward. Y'all tell me how you feel about this.
Hey, man, I just don't see how Drake think he got to win. And OVO can try to spin this however they want. If UMG knew, doesn't this make them wrong? That's not the point. That's not the point. It's irrelevant. We're not even about to argue that point. I don't care if they knew or not. That's not the point. The only point that matters is whether or not, one, it's out there, whether or not, two, it gives Kendrick enough cause to say what he said. Whether or not it's true as far as that goes isn't as important as whether or not it exists. That being the evidence, if you want to put it that way, right? Doesn't matter when UMG put the evidence together. Don't matter. They could have had this shit for months or years. It don't matter. Fact is that they got it. And the fact is, can they show a clear picture of things and behavior and the behavior of people around him that would lead one to think that, yeah, man, there might be some weird shit going on. Dude might be kind of strange and weird. He ain't got to be a PDF. But, you know, if somebody call him that, why? Oh, because he's doing this and that, or this and that has happened. Either way, no matter what, let's just say, for instance, he does show UMG uses bots and payola. Guess what? UMG is going to continue on, but in the process of doing that, he has to expose himself. It still only ends bad for him. No matter how you look at the outcome of this situation, it's only going to end bad for Drake. There's nothing that's going to come out that's going to help Drake as far as proving his quote unquote allegations in Family Matters. And I thought this guy had the facts. I thought he was speaking from a place of facts. How you got the facts if you need to find some facts? It makes no sense. But guess who had the facts? Kendrick had the facts. Kendrick had the facts. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. Do you think this is going to blow up in Drake's face? Do you think that we're going to get to a point where we'll be able to get content from a courtroom of UMG's lawyers laying out step by step the history of Drake's questionable behavior and of those around him? Sounds salacious, don't it? Hey, yo, let me know what y'all think about this. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll check you out in the next one.